Hey guys, welcome back. Or welcome if you're just now joining the walkthrough. So as you can see, I got my character as close to Samus Aran as I possibly could. And just in case you missed my intro video, every time I have the option, I'm going to play a female character, make her blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and as closely resembling Samus Aran as humanly possible. Alright, so Skyrim, unlike Breath of the Wild, it gives you an option. You can play from this perspective. The thing I don't like about it is, for one, because it is older graphics, I don't feel like the character's movements are super fluid. So, it kind of throws me off for a while, until I really get used to it, several hours into gameplay. But because the character is so big, in Breath of the Wild, Link is pretty small. It doesn't really block out a lot of your field of view. In this game, it's a little bit too big for my comfort. I don't like how much view it blocks out. So, you can play it this way. And, when you go to attack, it kind of zooms back out a little further to shrink the character just a little bit more. So, whether you're bow wielding or, axe wielding, whatever the case may be, it does help a little bit. But overall, especially when I'm not in a fighting stance, I just don't like the size of it. So, between the way it moves and the size, I much rather prefer to play in first person. Now, the world feels a little bit different when you change perspective. So, I'm used to playing it this way. But, if you guys really like having the character in there, feel free to keep putting that in the comments. Because I can play it both ways. Again, it's just a matter of getting used to one way or the other. So, but, for my personal preference, I 9 times out of 10 will play this way. On rare occasion, if I want to see the character's funny clothing or whatever the case may be, I'll back it out, and I'll have that in my field of view. But definitely more for combat purposes. I'm most likely going to be zoomed in when things start getting intense. Alright guys, so let's get going with Skyrim here. Now, there is a little hack. This guy, Roloff, he cannot die. So there is a way to kind of bump your character up. Right now we're level, 0. Or we're actually level 1. It gives you a freebie. But every time you level, you're going to get a perk, which I'm not going to do this little trick right now to get the perks, because I'm not going to actually spend any of them just yet. What I really want to do is just get leveled up, because every time you level, you can increase your magic, your health, or your stamina, as indicated at the bottom there. So, I don't know what setting I've got the game on right now. I believe it is Adept, and I think that's default. So Novice is going to be the absolute easiest. Princess is a little tougher, but still pretty easy. Adept, I think, is where the game by default puts you at. So I'm going to go ahead and play Adept. That way, if you're just playing the game and you want to kind of get a baseline to where you're at with skill. But honestly, if the going gets kind of tough there and you keep dying, and you just can't get past a particular dungeon or whatever, you can always bump the game difficulty down. You can actually even do this in the middle of combat, which is pretty awesome. And get through the tough part, and then go ahead and, bump it back to where you had it. It's kind of like a little bit of a cheat, but it doesn't affect the game in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't affect your leveling. It doesn't really affect anything at all. It's more or less, I guess, just for your own personal baseline on where the difficulty of the game meets the enjoyment of the game. Again, if it's just getting too frustrating, bump the difficulty down. If you want a little bit of challenge, back in the game, go ahead and bump the difficulty back up. And I believe this goes all the way to Legendary, which is insane. Highest I ever played was Master, and guys, it was tough, especially in the beginning of the game. Now, I mentioned in my intro video that we were going to get super strong super early in the game, but even on Master, that's tough to do, because everything is just out to kill you right away. So, at some point, I was able to master the Master mode, but, that took a little bit of getting into the game and getting myself really armed up strong to be able to manage that. But playing an Adept, I think you guys will find it's a pretty good middle of the road, a good baseline anyway to start out at. Alright guys, so I mentioned there's a little hack here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some weapons and clothing from this guy, which, you can't progress the game until you do that. And once you start looting this dead body here, that's going to trigger the NPC to kind of start getting the game in motion. So keep that in mind. You're going to want to kind of do what you got to do here relatively quickly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually take everything that I can. Now be careful because you've got weight. In your inventory, you're going to notice a weight rating down there. I got damage, 0 plus 9. I've got the carry weight, 23 out of 300. So right now I can only carry 300 pounds. That might seem like a lot, but you're going to have a money system in this game. So unfortunately, you've got to bring stuff out of this dungeon so that you can sell it off and start getting some money flowing. So, you know, it's going to be kind of a balance between, okay, this item weighs a lot and it's not really valued at a lot, so it's probably not worth carrying. If an item is relatively light and valued pretty good, that's definitely the kind of stuff you want to carry. But for right now, I'm going to grab everything because I don't have anything. So, you know, I'm going to assign that to my right trigger there. So that'll be my swinging hand. And then you have two hands in this game in case you have never played Skyrim. So I've only got one weapon. You can put a shield in the left hand. Sometimes you can put a dagger in each hand. It's just, you know, different weapons give you different options as far as your hands go. When we get into the magic, you can apply the magic spells to either hand also. So most of the time in this game, you'll be wielding two weapons, one in each hand. Alright, apparel, I'm going to take the best of the best. Right now, the foot wraps are giving me no armor rating, but the fur boots will. Same thing with the tunic, no rating, but that will. Now, these don't really have any weight to them. Yeah, a pound, 2 pounds, I guess. I'll probably drop the foot wraps because I'll never do anything with those in my life. Okay, maybe I can't do it from there. Bear with me here while I remember this. It's been a minute. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so you couldn't be in the... If you're looting a chest or a body, you can't drop stuff. But you have to get out of a body or a chest, you know, just in your own inventory, then you can drop stuff. So yeah, honestly, that's just a waste of a pound there. I might hold on to this because I like using these for crafting, especially for, like, the smithing skill. I like to put enchantment on that. And because it is only 1 pound, that's the kind of shirt I like to carry around for that type of an enchantment. So I'll hold on to it for now, but they're pretty common throughout the game, so I don't know, we'll see. Alright guys, so enough talking about that. Now I told you that NPC would start kind of getting some quests going, but before he gets too far, I'm actually going to start swinging away at him. He cannot die. So this is that hack I was talking about. You can do this all day long. So it's pretty awesome. Now, at some point you're going to injure him enough, he'll take a knee, which is kind of good because you can keep swinging at him. But, you know, at the end of the day, you cannot... There's no penalty for doing this. Nothing's going to happen to you, no harm will come. You're not going to break the game in any way. He can't die, so even if you know, get him to take a knee, he won't actually die. He'll still be at your side. Okay, so now that's what I was talking about. You know, he'll kind of take a knee there. But now the game is kind of going here, so at some point I'm going to stop doing this and actually kill the enemies. But, yeah, you already saw I leveled up once, so this is just a real nice little hack here. You can get your character leveled up quite a lot doing this. Again, with no penalty whatsoever. Okay, so now here's where it starts getting real. You can die here. Now she's going to be the tough one to kill, because she's got the armor on, so I like to focus on her first. And I usually let my follower take care of the other one there. But as you can see, not super difficult, and this is the Adept. I was able to just kind of swing away. I took, you know, minimal damage there, and it was a-okay. Now, in this game, guys, I do not like the one-handed weapons. So that's why I say I'm going to use it to level, but I'm not going to use it to actually get myself any perks. So what I like to do is I like to use bow and arrow. That's my go-to weapon system. I know how to get that very powerful very early. So yeah, I'm going to dump a lot of those perk points into the bow and arrow. Okay, now, the game wants you to follow him, and you can, but there's some more looting to do here right before we get going. So I'm going to take a quick moment. Now, this is where we would have come in had we followed the Imperial in. This is the first room we would have found. There's a little bit of looting to do in here. I think all these chests are empty, all but one. Okay, again, I'm taking everything right now because I don't know what I... will and will not have room for. with the exception of very, very heavy armor. Some of this armor, it weighs like 35 pounds or something, just one piece. So, yeah, I'm going to have to be selective on some of this stuff. Oh, and also read every book, guys. Some of these are bump books, and I mean bump, meaning a bump in skill. So, in this game, you're going to have this massive, and this is something Breath of the Wild really doesn't get into, but you're going to have this massive perk tree, and, you know, it's going to be super confusing at first and a little bit intimidating, but don't worry, I'll walk you through all this in time. But, yeah, getting back to that bow and arrow archery. So I need to get my bow and arrow up to 20. I think I start out at 15 or something. And then I can start, you know, adding these perks. And in Breath of the Wild, you can slow time down when you're doing bow and arrow, but you have to do that while you're airborne, and it consumes stamina. In this game, you don't have to get air time. You can do it from standing on the ground, and it still consumes stamina, but the difference is you gotta, you know, dump a perk point in to get that. So Eagle Eye will zoom in the view, Steady Hand will slow the time down. So super, super awesome. But as you can see, that's a 40 level requirement. So guys, read the books, read the books, read the books. You know, you're going to come across certain books and that's going to give you a bump in a skill. So you can't beat that. And there's quite a lot of books throughout Skyrim. So absolutely take your time to do that. Okay, so other stuff in this room, not anything else of note. I think that's empty. No, it is not empty. Okay, so, yeah, 2 chests in here have loot. Now, the wine, again, you got to think about your weight. So you can carry a half a pound per bottle and only get 7 gold for that. Or you can carry the same amount of weight and get 12 gold for that. Now, you cannot sell this for 12 yet. It's only going to sell for like 2 or 3 gold, which really sucks, because I know it's deceiving. You know, it's going to show you a different dollar amount right now. But again, getting back to that perk tree, once you get your speech skill going, that's how you negotiate prices. So you've really got to bump that speech up to start getting the prices to match more what the shelf price is going to read. Alright guys, that's a lot of informational stuff there, I know. And it's going to be like that because, like I said, guys, this game is just so freaking massive. It's going to be impossible to, you know, think of all this stuff just right off the top, so I'm going to have to do it as I go. So, you know, as I'm talking, I'll try to find a good balance there between that and, you know, talking about the actual, the game itself. Alright, so there's our good friend Roll-Off, you know, try to get some more cheap shots in on him. Now, I can already level my character 1 time, and I'm going to show you what I was talking about, bumping up your health, your magic, and your stamina. So, you know, as much as I can here, just go to town, go to town, go to town. At some point, we're going to be engaging combat again. I think we're already here. But again, I want him to do most of the work there. Unless he gets too damaged, like now. Oh yeah, and sometimes the game will like slow down and kind of show you a really cool kill. So you know, don't fear. Sometimes you might think you're getting killed there, but it's just the game slowing down to show you a little graphics clip. It does a lot with bow and arrow, which is pretty cool. Breath of the Wild, it gave you that real cool pew, you know, to really make it sound like time was slowing down. In this one, it's not that fun. It's more silent, but it's still pretty cool. Alright, so that's light, light. All the light stuff I'm going to carry. The swords, they start getting kind of heavy, you know, 10 freaking pounds. And that'll probably only sell for like 8 or 9 gold, you know, if even that. So I don't think I'm going to carry a ton of swords for that reason. I'm more interested in the armor. Now that's real heavy, guys. I know it says 100, but 35 pounds, golly. And it might only sell for like, you know, 30 or so gold. So, you know, I might carry that for now, but at some point I am going to dump a lot of this stuff. Like 8 pounds for 20, that might only sell for 5. That's a lot of weight for 5 gold. I'm not going to carry that. That's a little bit better of a bargain there. It's half the weight and a little bit better on the gold. And honestly, these daggers might not be too bad. Yeah, maybe not that one. So there's a progression of weapons. you're going to have, you know what, yeah, now's a good time to talk about this. You're going to have the crap weapons, so just like Breath of the Wild, you got Traveler stuff. So in this game, the iron stuff is the Traveler stuff. So you're going to have Iron Sword, really garbage damage rating. Then you're going to get a Silver Sword, or whatever they call that, a Steel Sword. And that's going to be a little bit better. Then you're going to get whatever the next best sword is. It's going to be, you know, Orcish or, you know, something like that, or Elven, whatever it is. I can't remember right now. But anyway, there's a progression of weapons, and they get better and better as you go. Iron Dagger, you know, garbage damage there. So, yeah, you know, again, I'll walk you through this as we go. But just so you know, iron is bottom of the barrel. If you start seeing steel and better, start scooping that stuff up. Not only is it better attack power, but it sells better. Okay, I think that's one of my better wines. Take the time to loot this room, guys. There's lots of little goodies hidden in here. Take all these potions, check the cabinets for stuff. You know, you're going to find free gold here and there too, so... cups and things, yeah, everything sells, but not for very good, and, you know, it's just a lot of weight. So I'm going to be, you know, relatively selective with what I do pull out of here. I will take the food and stuff. Now, there is a survival mode in this game, but honestly, I played it and I did not like it. Main reason why? I could not stand the no fast travel. Guys... If you could fast travel, I would absolutely play survival mode. It's so much more fun with eating and stuff and sleeping. But yeah, the fast travel thing, I'm sorry, but this map is so massive. I am not going to spend 45 minutes walking from one side of the map to another side of the map so I can go do a quest. And then you have to walk 45 minutes back so you can get, you know, the quest taken care of. It was just ridiculous. So if they can fix that whole fast travel issue, I would absolutely play that. But for now, it's just not in the cards. Alright guys, now I'm also checking these empty sacks and stuff. And, you know, you can grab the apples or whatever. I usually like to carry at least a couple of everything. You know, one or two, whatever. This way it doesn't take up a terrible amount of weight, and you have it in your inventory if you so need it. But there are certain things where I will really start stocking up on, like salt. If you see salt piles, start picking those up. Reason being, you can start crafting potions, and you can sell those potions for actually quite a lot of money. So part of my strategy here is collecting things that I know I can craft potions with. Even though I'll never use those potions, I will sell those potions. And not only does it bump up your money in your cash flow, but it also bumps up your skill in, say, alchemy while you're doing that. So yeah, just lots and lots of little tricks here, guys. I'm going to walk you through this, you know, as we go. If you've never played Skyrim before, your head is probably already spinning, and that's okay. If you have played Skyrim before, you're probably listening to me talk going, oh my god, that's brilliant, why didn't I think to do that? And that's okay, because, you know, I didn't either right away. When you play the game as much as I have, the ideas start flowing to you. It's like, oh my god, I wish I had done that like 2 years ago. So yeah. Alright, again, another combat scenario. I'm really going to try to get my level bumped up. Okay, so I'm just, you know, just been doing this. I'm going to cut these little snippets out of the video so it's not super boring. But as you can see, he's just kind of wandering around the dungeon cell here. And at some point he's going to get away from you and kind of want to proceed. But we got some looting to do here, so I'll just let him live and let live for the moment. But yeah, just to kind of show you what I've been able to do with that dude. I don't even know how many times I've leveled just yet. I guess we'll figure that out. And I'm going to dump this all right into health. Reason being is because you're going to die a lot right in the beginning, especially if you're new to the game. The combat's a little bit, you know, different than Breath of the Wild, so it takes some getting used to. But, so yeah, I've already leveled my character once, which is awesome. But in one-handed, and again, this isn't my combat style, but if it is yours, you know, feel free to start putting the perks where you want. But this is where the perks would go for that weapon that I'm wielding. There's also two-handed weapons, which I don't really like because they're slow. Yeah, they're more powerful, and yeah, they usually knock shields away and stuff, but I just, you know, again, I go for the bow and arrow, so I'm not really for either one of these. And I might spoil myself a little bit and put a perk into speech earlier game, because that gets your money flowing a little bit better. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. I might, I'm trying to think of like newer players too. So I think the most important thing is going to be to dump things into archery, which I can actually give that a bump right freaking now. So we don't have a bow yet, but we're going to get one here momentarily. Now 20% isn't going to do much. The bows we're going to get in the beginning, it's going to be a long bow. It's going to be a real terrible, attack power. So that 20% really isn't going to make much of a difference. But real quick here out of the tutorial stage, we're going to get much better bows, and that will start really mattering. Alright, now here's another way you can bump up your skills. Okay, anything light armor I'm going to grab. Notice I'm already at 200 pounds, those guys. That's not good. So, I'm going to grab as much light stuff as I can, but chances are the heavy stuff is going to have to go. Okay, 1 pound for 10 gold isn't bad, but still not great. Steel dagger. Okay, you can see that's almost double in value there. The iron dagger is only worth 10 at 2 pounds. This is 2.5 pounds for 18, so it's better bang for your buck on the weight. So I'll probably actually just go ahead and dump those other daggers that I know aren't going to be worth much anyway. Okay, and now there's ways to favorite this, so you don't have to keep going back through this main menu here. And again, I mapped my buttons to match, other video games that I play. So right now my start and select buttons are doing these. It's between that and my map. So, one of them does the map and all this other stuff, items, skill tree. So again, guys, map the buttons how it's going to work for you. And I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so favoriting. So for right now, the best weapon I've got is probably going to be this horror axe, and you can favorite that. So bam, I got that favorited. You can see that little white dot next to the iron war axe. And then you can do the same thing with clothing. Matter of fact, I can probably bump my armor rating up here a little bit. Right now I'm wearing that. Okay, see, I'm going to wear this light stuff. I'm going to go ahead and don the helmet. I'm going to don bracers and boots. So notice my armor rating down at the bottom is 51. So that's freaking awesome. So this will really help with our survivability, moving forward out of this area now. Now this has a higher... Yeah, I'm going to actually go ahead and wear that helmet right now. That's even better. I think that's pretty much it. That's about all I can do with 25. Alright, so just wanted to kind of talk you guys through that for, a moment. Now to show you why I took the time to favorite something, you can push the right arrow. Or wait a minute, what button is that? Okay, up or down arrow, excuse me. God, all these video games are starting to bleed together. So either up arrow or down arrow will open your favorites menu. So I've only got one item there right now, but as you add favorites, that menu will get, longer. So again, just wanted to take the time to point all that out. And it'll just save you time in the long run, thumbing through that longer menu. Okay, guys, continuing the theme, loot everything. You can see I'm getting a ton of potions here. I'm taking the time to read everything. Iron daggers really aren't worth carrying. And I started mentioning before I got mentally sidetracked there, another way to bump your skills up and get yourself leveled is lockpicking. Lots and lots of lockpicking opportunities. And guys, this is another thing that's going to be a little tough to learn, especially if you're a new player. But I'll try to walk you through that here as best as I can. I think I just picked up a weapon I probably didn't want. Absolutely not. Way too heavy. Okay, but I will take his curious. And those don't really sell good, so no thank you. The shields, they don't sell terribly bad. Again, got to think about the weight coming out of here. Iron mace, yeah, it's not really worth the weight for the money. I mean, neither one of these really are, but at least this is less weight. Okay, yeah, I'm going to leave the shields. Okay, you can read every book, guys, and it might seem kind of monotonous. And you don't actually have to read the book and thumb through... Notice there's another lockpick or two here, and they're tough to see. So sometimes if you're just kind of scrolling around with your cursor, something will light up. and you don't even really see the object, so, you know, just take a moment to make sure you're getting everything out of here. You're going to be breaking lockpick, so I always like to, you know, get what I can out of here. And I thought there was another one. Not seeing it. Maybe I already picked it up. Alright, so yeah, the lockpicking. This is going to be fun. Now, at some point I might do segregated videos to demonstrate the lockpicking. But on one so basically you have to use both joysticks. The left joystick is gonna, you know, kind of move this thing. It's kind of like a sundial. You know, you can go down to this point, and then you can, you know, either slowly or very quickly move it from one side or to the other. So, you know, that's the easy part. The hard part is going to be the right joystick. Now, you're going to want to go easy, easy, easy on that right joystick, because you're going to notice that the stuff starts wiggling when I start just barely nudging on that right joystick. So the harder you crank on that right joystick, the worse that shaking is going to be, and the faster you're going to break your lockpicks. So now what I like to do is just give these little test nudges. I'll just slightly nudge that right joystick just a little bit. If all my stuff jiggles around like that, I know I am not in the right spot. So then you'll have to move this around with the left joystick. So then what I usually like to do is I like to start in the middle top. And then if that doesn't work, I'll kind of go to this little bolt or whatever. Notice these 4 little bolts on this square lock thing. So this bolt and that bolt is kind of like, so that would be like 90 degrees, this would be like 45 degrees, and that would be like another 90 degrees or whatever. So yeah, anyway, I already tested the center one there, it didn't work, so now I'll go to the left, and I'll give it another test nudge. Now notice they're not shaking, I'm actually getting some movement there, so that's a good thing. So you can actually kind of, if you're real good with your motor skills, you can very, very, very slowly nudge that right joystick, and I'm just holding it in one spot right now, but notice it's still moving. So what I'm going to do is just kind of keep following that around, and at some point if it starts shaking, I'm going to let go. But it's not shaking, so I'm doing real good here. This might actually be the spot. Okay, that was too easy. I got to find a more challenging lock now. Okay, so yeah, that was just dumb luck that I happened to find the sweet spot there. And there's different levels of hardness. So, you know, I'm probably in the middle somewhere right now. Apprentice locks are pretty easy. You know, the master locks are ridiculously tough to find the sweet spot in. Let's see if I can have tougher. Go figure, it started working right away. So now what I could do is nudge this thing a little harder, you know, to make it move faster. So now I'm really cranking on that right joystick to make it move that fast. But remember, you're risking breaking your lockpick doing that. So sometimes what I'll do is, if I notice a test nudge is going good, I'll just kind of keep walking it over. I'll back off periodically, and that way if I see a wiggle, at least I wasn't cranking on it long. Okay guys, I'm getting really stupid lucky with like finding these sweet spots right now. Normally, it's not this easy. Okay, so kind of switching gears now from lockpicking into magic. So this is your first opportunity to get magic gear. So go ahead and grab that book. Anything that says Tomb Spell, you're going to want that. Magic Potion, absolutely. Go ahead and grab these clothes, because that's also giving you magic bonuses. So now, unfortunately, when you get a spell tomb, you have to read the book. It won't just automatically give you the spell. But the good thing is, once you read the book disappears, so the weight goes away. So I'm going to go ahead and read that book there by pressing the right trigger. Okay, so right now that will give me 30 extra magicka points, which is awesome, but I don't want to actually wear that right now. So what I'm going to do is just favorite it for the moment. And then I'm also going to favorite the robes here, because you can see that gives me a quicker regeneration on my magic. So that's a shirt and a headgear. So now what I'm going to do is also favorite the headgear that I am wearing and the shirt that I am wearing. This way I can just go into my favorites menu very quickly with that up or down arrow, and I can change clothes on the fly. It just saves a ton of time. You know, it's a little bit time consuming to set up your favorites, but it does save in the long run. Okay guys, I got real lucky here with another... Okay, but good, it's getting a hiccup. So you notice it starts shaking right there at that point, so that's not the right spot. So now I can either go left or right a little bit and try again. Now notice that shaking started, you know, when that knife kind of got a little ways into that. So now this is how I can gauge whether or not I'm going the right way with this thing. If I can move my knife further, I'm going the right direction. If the knife starts shaking, you know, before that point, then I know I'm going in the wrong direction. So now what I'm really going to do is pay attention now. If I start shaking immediately, that means I was moving this the wrong way. I'd have to go back the other way. But as I can already see, I'm not shaking sooner, so I know I'm going in the right direction. Now notice I can move the knife farther along. So now we'll see where it goes. You know, it might start shaking again, I might not. I might hit the sweet spot. So say it started shaking right around here somewhere. At that point you would just nudge a little bit more over and try it again. So on and so forth. But I think I actually hit the spot there, so we'll see what happens. Booyah! Alright guys, again, that's going to take some time. It's a skill. But at some point it'll start clicking for you, and you'll be getting more and more efficient with your lockpicking. Now again, that's a skill. So the lockpicking skill, as that number increases, so too does the sweet spot. The sweet spot will get bigger and bigger the higher your lockpicking skill goes. So my best advice, guys, everything the game lets you do, take a moment to do it. You know, even if it's not something you're keen on or really want to do it anyway. As you build that skill up, it'll get easier as you go. Not only that, it gives you more leveling, and it's just all the way around the best advice I can give you is do everything the game throws at you. On that note, there's more lockpicking here to do. Okay, I just broke my first lockpick here because I'm in a hurry now. I'm going to stop, you know, taking so much time to talk about this, but you'll be able to see as I go everything I've talked about as I put it into practice. Okay, bone meal really doesn't sell good, but again, I always like to keep a couple of everything in my inventory, just in case you do need it for something. So in addition to the lockpicking skill, you can also do a little bit of looting in these cages. I thought there was more than that. Oh, look at that, I blew right past two of them. Okay, dumb luck, I just happened to go the right way there. Okay, I think I got everything there is to get out of these little cubbies. So once you've gotten your 4 cells unlocked there, go ahead and continue following Olaf. Or Roll-Off. 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 Okay, so he keeps trying to get away from me, which really sucks. I wish there was a way to kind of corner him, so you could just sit here and do this all day. A friend of mine told me he got lucky, and he got him stuck somewhere once. And he let his kids play this game for like 3 hours, and that's all they were allowed to do, was just sit there and wail on that dude. He said he got his level up ridiculously high, though. So anyway, I've never been that lucky. I was never able to just go in and wail on him for, you know, 3 straight hours, but, you know, I am able to get a decent amount of hits on him. Okay, always check the skeletons and the dead people. A lot of times I'll have free gold or lockpicks or something on them that are always handy. And I'm going to start tapering back on the bone meal. There are some potions you can make with that, but they don't sell super good. And they're kind of heavy compared to other cooking ingredients, so yeah. I'll get a few bone meal, but not a ton of bone meal. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this room. Been a hot minute since I've actually played this game from the beginning, so I will take a double take as I proceed here, just to make sure I'm not missing anything of value. And there are some looting spots along the way here, nice little cubbies. Okay, now we're going to be getting into some more combat here, so be aware. Okay, now this is going to be our first bow. I'm going to kind of use him as a human shield for right now, because guys, there's a lot of enemies here. So, you know, at some point, you're going to have to be a little more selective on who you're going to swing at. But if you can use him as a human shield, you know, you can still wail on him and enemies. And then when he takes any, then you can just, you know, focus on the enemies. Just keep an eye on your health meter. Okay, I got 2 more archers over there, but as you can see, they're not doing a ton of damage. And that's because I bumped my armor rating up really good there. So yeah, you can stand here and take some damage. Just keep in mind, you know, you can't can't be too lackadaisical because that will start to add up on you. Especially when these guys with swords, if they do a power attack, that'll really knock your health out. Okay, but again, you know, I'm trying to really just get some swings on this guy for right now. I'm just going to keep a real close eye on my health meter, use him as a human shield, and at least get myself 1 or 2 more level ups here. Uh-oh, guys, I think I might have broken my roll-off. My swings aren't doing any more damage to him, and he's just kind of standing there, so I'm going to back up into the dungeon a little bit. If you go far enough away, sometimes that'll fix some of your glitchiness issues. And I've never actually had this happen with him before, so this is a new one, unfortunately. But again, sometimes if you go far enough away and kind of re-enter the combat cell, that'll reset the follower a little bit, and they'll kind of snap out of it. Okay, that looks like it reset him, so that's good.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you... Death to the Empire! What are you doing?
Okay, so once again, use my human shield.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Now this guy only took any, he didn't die, so be aware of that. These guys can get back up and start doing more damage on you if they're not completely finished.
Let's go on ahead. See if the way is clear.
Alright, so don't forget to do your looting. Anything light armor I'm going to try to carry out. Imperial sword too heavy. Longbow. I do want at least 1 bow. And I don't think we're going to have a ton of arrows yet. So, you know, I'm not going to do a ton of bow and arrow right now, but as soon as I get out of this tutorial stage, I will be relying more and more on bow. And guys, there's no weapon breakage in this game. So lucky for us, it's not like Breath of the Wild where you have like a sword made of glass and it just breaks right away. The weapons you have, you're going to have a lifetime. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, the best bang for your buck where the weight is concerned. Notice this is, you know, 8 pounds, but it only gives you 25 gold. And that's not even what we'll get for it right now because our speech skill isn't up there. So, you know, you might only get 5 or 10 gold for that. Down here, this is only 6 pounds, and you've got 125 value there. So that's kind of what I mean. When you're picking and choosing what to keep for selling purposes, make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck on the weight.
Watch it! Hey, be careful! What are you doing?
Alright, so once you're done looting your area there, the NPC will automatically trigger this door for you. Notice I just leveled up again there. So yeah guys, this is worth your time to just, you know, as annoying as it is, you know, this is really not what we want to be doing when we're playing a brand new video game, but you're getting free level ups out of the deal, you really can't beat it. And again, you know, if I can find that point where I can get him stuck, I'll be sure and get that out on the video at some point. But, you know, unfortunately, as far as I've been able to tell, he just keeps trying to run away from you as the game progresses. Alright, so I'm going to take advantage of that level up. Get a little bit more health. And I'm going to save that perk point, you know, probably for later decision making. We'll kind of see how I feel going, what direction I decide. But notice there's a river here. There's a little bit of looting to do. Some free gold, can't beat it. I don't think there's anything else down there, it's just a dead end. Now at some point we're going to find spiders. And if you guys don't like spiders like I don't like spiders, this part's going to make you feel super squeamish. This is where I really like starting getting into my bow and arrow. So I'm going to favorite that actually now. And the iron arrows. And I'm going to equip both of those. Okay, so now I'm ready for action. Now the left trigger, it does this stupid thing where the bow punches. And honestly, I hate it. Because it's just like, ugh, it's annoying. I do not like that at all. But what you can do is press the right trigger, and if you hold the right trigger down, it'll hold your arrow there. So notice, you know, I can take my time, I can really aim here. Now once you're in the stance, then you can press the left trigger and hold it down, but I don't have that perk activated yet. That's how it would slow time down and zoom in. So for right now, the best we got is just holding the right trigger down, you know, until you get your target, and then you can loose your arrow. Oh, and one thing about Breath of the Wild versus this game, notice I didn't even hit him with that arrow, even though I was aiming right at his head. So the arrow in this game, it's more realistic. There's a natural curve to the arrow. So when you loose your arrow, it's going to kind of start flying a little bit high or above your target, and then it'll kind of at some point come back down and into your target. So that's another thing you kind of have to learn about the archery. How far away is the target? If it's close enough to you, you're going to have to aim a little low. So again, that natural arrow, it'll curve up into the target. If the target is farther away, then you'll have to aim either right at it or a little bit high so the arrow falls into your target. And if you're holding that right trigger and you don't want to waste an arrow, just go ahead and hit the back button, and that'll back out of that stance. Okay, so roll off, took a right turn there, but I think there's another loot spot here. Maybe, perhaps. I guess it was just that gold bag there.
This way. Come on. What are you doing? I'm on your side.
Unfortunately, doing this consumes stamina. Really sucks. And we're limited on arrows. Otherwise, I would just love to sit here and shoot this guy with arrows all day long. But, you know, you're going to run out of arrows fast doing that. So I try to save the arrows for actual combat. Okay, now notice these spiders are kind of close. So again, you're going to want to aim a little bit low. Notice how I did that shot there. And I might spoil myself and fire a couple here. Unfortunately, you can't get the arrows back that you plug into him. Oh, speaking of like super fast leveling super early in the game, as soon as we get out of this tutorial stage, we're going to be going into a village where there's a follower we can hire, and you can actually pay him to bump up your archery skill. And because he's your follower, you can go into his inventory and steal your gold back. So like it's literally just free leveling. So like I said, guys, I'm just going to show you ways to do this really, really awesome, quick leveling stuff. You ain't seen nothing yet. I think there's another spider, or two, or three. Watch out, those spiders shoot venom, and it slows you way down, so... you know, just use him as a human shield as best as you can.
Too many eyes, you know?
I'm on your side.
Okay, there's also some looting to do in here. Now, I mentioned earlier on in this video, there's certain items you can get to make potions, and they sell really good. So, guys, always get spider eggs. Every time you see a spider egg, get it. Now, the frostbite venom, I don't use a ton of, but I'm going to get it in the tutorial part. Keep in mind the weight will add up, though, so I don't get a ton of them. But you can apply those to arrows, and it does a little more damage and stuff. So, especially early game when you don't have the attack power yet, that is a handy thing to have when you're struggling with a fight. You can apply that same poison to swords, too. It's not just for arrows. Okay, so all these little egg things, go ahead and get your eggs out of there. That's going to make a poison that we can sell with... God, there's like blue mountain flowers you can combine with those. Hanging moss. God, I can't even think of them all right now. There's just a ton of potions we can make. So yeah, everything the game throws at you guys, take a moment to loot it all. Okay, I guess I already got those. Now, you cannot climb cliff walls in this game, but you can get lucky with spamming the jump button. So it doesn't climb like Link, but it is a form of climbing, because you can just kind of keep like moving side to side and spamming that jump button, and it will eventually make a climb that way. Not always, but most of the time. Okay, all these hanging sacks, you can usually find loot in those too. Okay, so once you're done in this little area, moving right along.
Hey, be careful. I'm on your side.
Okay, now this is a spot we might be able to do a lot of hitting this guy in. there's a bear up here, and he won't normally proceed until you proceed. So maybe this is one of these sticking spots we can do. And it's real hard to see from this distance, but right there where my cursor's pointing, that's a sleeping bear. And they're pretty tough, guys, so this is one you might want to go ahead and save that game. Okay, I'm just not seeing it, guys. You know, look around here real thoroughly. I think I'm missing a bag of gold. But as you can see, this guy, he's kind of following me. He's not really going after the bear, so this might be a good spot. You know, if you really want to just spend an hour just hacking away at this guy and get yourself leveled as much as possible, this might be a good place to do that. And maybe this is what my friend was talking about, where he found a way to get him stuck. And he was able to do this for about 3 hours. Now, I'm not going to personally do that. Honestly, it's the Sabbath, and it's already sundown, and actually that really snuck up on me here pretty quickly. So I'm going to wrap this video up so I can honor that without not actually doing work during the Sabbath. So, yeah, I'm going to not do this here anymore for that specific reason. I've gotten myself, you know, leveled up better than I would have, you know, had I not. So, level 3 is better than level 1. And if you're kind of curious to see how many more swings you have to do to get that guy dead, just go to the skill you're working on. For example, this is the one-handed. And notice that little gold, or it's not gold, it's silver. The silver bar where it says one-handed 34. Right under that, there's that little, like, funny-shaped rectangular box or whatever that is, a trapezoid or whatever. I was never very good in geometry, so forgive me, mathematicians. But anyway, there's a little silver bar in there that will continue sliding to the right. So as you can see, it's real close to that one-handed, that silver bar being all the way to the right there. So once that hits, you know, fills completely in, then it'll bump my one-handed to 35, and then that silver bar will reset and go to something that looks like that, where it's completely empty. So just to demonstrate that here, I'll hit him a couple of more times, and there it goes. Okay, so now you can see that one-handed skill, that silver bar is now reset all the way back over to the left. So that just kind of shows you, you know, if it's really, really far and it's just taking too long, do you really want to keep going with it? That's up to you to decide. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and get on out of this so I can, you know, get back to my honoring the Sabbath here. Okay, so now for the bear, you can sneak up on it, or you can just do what I do and shoot it with arrows. And that's probably the right distance to aim right at it. Okay, maybe this is that loot spot I was thinking of. Actually, this is that loot spot I was thinking of. So I was mistaken on where it was located. Unfortunately, I just knocked this thing over. Get out of my way. Okay, 60 for a 5 pounds, that's not terrible. Okay, now the bears, actually all the wildlife, take the time to kill this stuff, especially early game. Maybe not until you can get to a selling spot, a vendor, but you can skin these things and make leather, and again you can bump up your smithing skill that way by making stuff out of leather. And I don't know where the bear went. There he is. So yeah, all these hides, like the bear pelt, deer pelt, any kind of hide like that you can get, always take the time to grab that stuff. Specifically for the purpose of leveling yourself up and then subsequently selling that stuff off for more cash flow. Alright guys, so we're coming to a near end of our little journey here. We're still in the tutorial stage, believe it or not. I don't think I'm really missing anything else in here at this point. Just taking that second look to be sure. But he's going to go ahead and exit this cave now. And guys, I don't know if he actually leaves the cave before you. Yes. So if you wanted to, you know, take the time and get your swings on him, the time to do it is before the bear dies. That's the sweet spot there for that. And guys, this is it right here. As soon as I got out of this tutorial stage on my very first playthrough, because I really wasn't sure yet, you know, there was the blood and You know, I just wasn't sure yet, but as soon as I got out here... Okay, we are not going to do survival mode right now. Okay, so now you can turn this on and off, which is a good thing. But I just don't like it, like I said, because of the fast traveling thing. Yeah, it's just not for me. So I'm going to hit no on that for sure. And guys, like I was saying, man, as soon as I emerged from this cave and I saw what I was looking at, and I was like, wow, I can go anywhere. And it was beautiful. Like, I know it's an older game and the graphics are a little older, but it's still visually stunning, and you ain't seen nothing yet. Like, sometimes the sky will just light up, and there's multiple planets and moons, and it's just, there's auroras. Like, guys, I'm telling you, best game ever. Like, the details, the devil is in the details on this one. There's just so much, and I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to get in, and this epic music starts playing, and you're looking up at this just amazing picturesque skyline, and a view just, you know, it's just insane. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. That was the tutorial stage. I know it was kind of lengthy. There was a lot of, you know, commentary in this one for sure. But again, guys, just so much to the game. It's going to be like that in a lot of moments in my videos. But I want to be thorough. I want to share the joy, and I want to make sure you guys are knowing about this stuff along the way. All right, folks. Hope that helps you all out. Happy hunting. Until the next time. Peace.